I know the fact that Baltimore did it at home and the it is just spanked the Chargers would put them in that category. But they were home. I got to take road teams for impressive wins. Got to do it. And certainly since fans have returned and travel is still just as dicey in COVID, even with vaccines, as you know, I'm a breakthrough case. You gotta go with road teams. And certainly road teams that don't have their head coach because he's a breakthrough case for COVID. And Kliff Kingsbury was sitting at home. And by the way, if you want to be quarantined as a breakthrough case for COVID, it looks like his spot would be a great spot. You just turn on that
fire,
turn on that fire in the background, right, and just go for it. So, but trust me, it sucks. And what Kingsbury must be going through right now has got to suck. And I'm hoping he's asymptomatic or as close as possible, because if you're not, and I'm telling you, the vaccine hope, is at least going to keep him out of the hospital and from being deathly ill. But it's just for a control freak like a coach to do everything that he needs to do to avoid getting COVID best he can, and then to get it and then watch your team go on the road in Cleveland. And this Browns team, as we know, was just up the road here against the Chargers and played a game on tilt. And offensively, we're just steamrolling the Chargers. But the Browns are banged up. They're banged up. Still, though, you got to beat a team, even on the road, without your head coach. You got to go into Cleveland, who's down 2 tackles, down their best running back in Chubb, and then wound up being down their one of their lead receivers in Jarvis Landry. And then they wound up being down without Kareem Hunt, and they wound up being down without Odell for a while when he came out holding his arm just when he was beginning to cook. And then Baker's injured non-throwing shoulder pops out again, apparently second time in as many weeks. And what you have to do when you've got that team, also that team shaky on defense despite their 2 pillars running for you, from their defensive end positions in Clowney and Garrett. Got to still go on the road and still come up with the win. Certainly when you have adversity on your first drive by having a ball snap right past your quarterback, bringing up 3rd and 21, as happened to Kyler Murray. Just don't go ahead and convert it and score a touchdown. And then DeAndre Hopkins gets loose twice. And then J.J. Watt shows up without their best defensive player in Chandler Jones. He's out due to COVID. J.J. Watt's best game as an Arizona Cardinal yesterday, when the shoulder popped out on Baker Mayfield, it's because J.J. Watt came in and put him down on a turf. And you could see him. We were talking in our Peacock only segment about Aaron Rodgers being picked up saying, I still own you to the Chicago Bears faithful. J.J. Watt, you could see him reading his lips. They can't block me. They can't block me. Arizona Cardinals are terrific. What a huge win for them on the road. Huge win for them on the road. To stay 6-0. Certainly when the Rams showed up in New Jersey and you assumed that the boat race was going to be on there, and it was. But they just went into Cleveland and just smacked Cleveland around early on in the first quarter when Kareem Hunt was still up and running and when Baker Mayfield hadn't had his shoulder pop out for a second time yet and Odell wasn't out yet. This game was in hand early on. And the Cardinals are now 6-0 since they started 7-0, their best start to start a season ever in 1974. I had mentioned to you when they were the lone remaining undefeated team in this year for the first time. 1974 was the last time they were the lone remaining undefeated team in the NFL. It's been a long time for this organization, and they look good, and they had to do it, especially knowing the Rams were going to keep pace. Highly impressive W for the Cardinals, who now face the Texans next. And I don't know, 50 targets and 50 touchdowns for DeAndre Hopkins in that game against the Houston Texans? Or do they just bring a thank you bouquet up to the owner's suite?
I think both work.
When the visitor's owner's suite?
Yeah, both work.
Right? Oh, that's what's going to be on.
Yeah.
And J.J. Watt, we're going to scheme for him, although they did him a solid. So
They did him
a big-time
yeah,
solid.
Very true. Very true.
So it's going to be an interesting week in Arizona this week. And they're feeling good, 6-0, staring 7-0 to match that 1974 start right in the face. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.